Chitraranjan's, whose life is a landmark in the history of India, struggle for freedom was handedly called Desabandhu, friend of the country. Born in Calcutta, he belonged to an upper middle class Vidya family from Vikrampur in the Dhaka district. His father, Bubun Mohandas, was a reputed solicitor of the Calcutta High Court and ardent member of the Brahma Samaj. He was also well known for his intellectual and journalistic pursuits, pursuits for his generous disposition and extravagant habits. He became an educated insolvent towards the end of his career. Chittaranjan's patriotic ideas were greatly influenced by his father's. Chittaranjan was the second child and eldest son of his parents. His youngest brother was Priya Das, a judge of the Patna High Court in 1897. Chittaranjan married Vasanti Devi, daughter of Bharatnath Halder, Devan of Bajnis Estate in Assam. After receiving his early education at the London University Institution at Bhawanapur, Calcutta, Chittaranjan passed the entrance exam of 1885 as a private candidate. He graduated from the Presidency College in 1890. He then went to England to compete for the ICS, but he was the last man out of his country this year. Therefore, he joined in Inner Temple and was called to the bar in 1894. In his intellectual pursuits, Chittaranjan was fond of Shelley, Brown, and Keats in particular, and in general of European literature, including plays. He was deeply interested in religion and philosophy. He studied Brahman religious books as also Vaishnava literature, the teaching of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and the ideas of Swami Vivekananda inspired him too. He was conversant with the writing of Begum Chandra, D.L. Roy, Grace Bose, and Tagore. Later life, while in prison, he used to read books of political philosophy. It was Begum Chandra who personally influenced his political ideas. Brahma though Upadhyaya also influenced him, making his nationalism dynamic on Henrik while at the Presidency College. Chittaranjan was a leading figure of Students' Association, and from Surendranath Banerjee he took the first lesson in public service and location. While in England during 1890 to 94, he gave a lecturing speech on because behalf of Dominology decided on address at the protest meeting President of the London in connection with offensive anti-Indian remarks made by John Michael. In 1894, Das came back to India and enrolled himself as a registrar of the Calcutta High Court, but he did not get the backing badly needed to make a good start in the profession. The Calcutta bar was crowded with great personalities like Griffith, Evan T. Pellet, Mohan Ghosh, W. C. Banerjee, and T. A. Apkar. His next treat to remove the strain of resiliency on his father's name made him all the more impatient. So he shifted his practice to Mufilsal courts and began to make his mark as a criminal lawyer. It, however, took some time to render his financial position satisfied. Like his father, Sitaranjan had also taken shelter of the insolvency court. In 1907, he appeared as a defense lawyer of Ramanand Upadhyaya and Upendranath Datta. who were prosecuted for sedition. His abilities as an advocate evoked general administration, though he did not succeed in fulfilling the section. The turning point in his career came when he was called upon to appear on because of Arbindo was in the Alipur bomb case 1980. It was due to his brilliant handling of the case that Arbindo was ultimately acquitted. In his eloquent advocacy in this case, he concluded, a man like this who is being charged stands not only before the bar in this court but also stands before the bar of this high court of history. He will be looked upon as the poet of patriotism, as the poet of nationalism, and the lover of humanity. His words will be echoed and recorded not only in India but across distant seas and land success. In this case, both those to the forefront of professional and political platforms. Thiruvananthapuram was the defense counsel in the Dhaka constitutional case 1910. He was an doctor in civil law as much as a criminal. His success in the Ramoran Raj corruption case has tendency onto his eminent civil lawyer. Within a very short period, he built up a fabulously literate practice. In 1920, his professional monthly income rose to rupees 50,000. In 1913, when Chittaranjan rose almost to the top of the profession, he took the rather unusual procedures of paying. This is also his father's Tom Barrel joined debates for which they had gone to the insolvency court. This act, prompted by his high moral sense, made a profound impression on his countrymen. Early in life, Chittaranjan gave one to his intensely patriotic feeling as a student of Presidency College. He was a while away in England during 1890 to 94. In 1901, he financially contributed to support the agitation of South Africa. He was associated with the revolutionary organization, the Unsung during the anti-partisan agitation. He played his role as co-workers Yasin Banerjee, Bipin Pal, and Arvind Ghosh. He gave lecture on Swadeshi movement and associated himself with the two nationalist organs, the New India and Vande Mataram. He also raised his voice against Prison Indian University's bill and indictment against the Bengalis. It was, however, not before 1917 that Das came to the forefront of nationalist politics. In the year he was invited to preside over the Bengal Provincial Conference held on at Bhuvanpur. At the conference, Chittaranjan gave in Bengali his memorable presidential speech, animated by Luffy idealism and patriotic fire. Chittaranjan's political career was brief but meteoric. And in course of only 8 years, 1917 to 25, he rose into all India fame by virtue of his ardent patriotism, sterling sincerity, and authorial power. Further, his advent into the political field in 1917 took place at a crucial moment. Patriotism was the consuming poison, passion with Chittaranjan a part of his religion and imitation of European politics. It was echoed in his speech at a meeting held at Unsung in October 1917 in the field of Indian nationalism. Deshbandhu has he had no doubt about the final victory of the cause and the fulfillment of India's cultural and spiritual mission in the world. In 1917, Sitaranjan played a significant role in the controversy over the election of Mr. Annie Besant, the President of Indian National Congress for the Calcutta session during the period 1917 to 1918. He also took part of agitation against the government policy of internment and deportation against the government policy of independent defense of Indian Act on the eve of the Calcutta session 1917 of the Congress. He had been on a lecturing tour in Eastern Bengal, addressing large gatherings on self-government. In his impassioned address on the self-government resolution at the Congress session, he affirmed, I want the power to build my own constitution in a way which is suited to this country. In 1918, both at the Congress special session in Bombay and at the annual session in Delhi, those opposed the scheme of Unsung for proposal was inadequate and disappointing. The demand for provincial autonomy was successfully opponent in the teeth of vehement opposition from Mrs. Besant and others. In 1919, Chittaranjan went to the Punjab as a member of the non-official Jallianwala Bagh Enquiry Committee at the Amritsar Congress. He made the first advocacy of obstruction while opposing the idea of cooperation with the government in the implementation of the 1919 reforms. In 1920, at the special session of the Congress held at Calcutta under the presidency of Rajpat Rai, Gandhiji gave his famous program of non-cooperation with the government, thus showed some changes in it, but in one. He, however, had the support of the Pal, Mulvi Ordino, and his cousin. 3 months later, the Congress met in Nagpur, where he, however, accepted Gandhiji's letter, came to Calcutta to launch large practice of the whole nation. He was deeply impressed with this supreme act at self-sacrifice. Desabandhu now threw himself heart and soul into the movement. Besides that non-cooperation movement, the large-scale executive of the police from Assam Tea Garden and the strike of the Assam Bengal Railway employees engaged his attention in 1921. The same year, he was elected president for the Congress session to be held in Ahmedabad. In its procedures, the government declared as illegal to the Congress voluntary organization, which took a leading part in the boycott of the visit of the Prince of Wales 1921. Desmond decided to defy the arbitrary Roman monarch along with Busbus, Francis Roy, and many others. His wife was Devi's son, Chitra Rajan, and sister Roman were arrested. Lisbon, who himself was arrested and sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. After his release in 1922, he was elected president of a Congress session at there. With the suspension of the non-cooperation movement at the incident of Gandhiji following the Chauri Chaura incident, the whole country went to the independence at the critical for Desabandhu endeavored to give a new orientation to Indian politics through his council entry program, um, non-cooperation from within the councils. He, however, met with vehement opposition from the Mahatma and no changer. At the Congress, Rajagopal led the council entry opposition. His motions being lost, Desabandhu resigned the presidency. Therefore, he organized a Swarajya Party within the Congress in collaboration with Motilal Nehru, the A.R. brothers, Ajmal Khan, Vijay Patel, Pratap Guha, Roy, and others. He was initially known as the Congress Swaraj Caliphate Party, in spite of the bitter criticism lanced by the note changes like Samsung Chakraborty and J.L. Banerjee C. Jalpaiguri conference was organized by the Swarajist in 1923 through the effort of the Swarajist. Maulana Azad was elected president of the Congress special session at Delhi, where the program of council entry was approved. The program was later confirmed at the Kokando session. At the general election of 1923, the Swarajist Bengal, Desbandhu fronted the offer of Lord Langton to take the responsibility of the transport department in the council. He followed the policy of smashing the official and semi-official recognition. Despite the government's perceived measures, stringent policy of council entry was vindicated by the government's deputy budget. He not only succeeded in killing Desi in Bengal but also is seeking this bureaucracy in India to its very foundation. In 1920, those Rajas captured the seats of the Calcutta Corporation. Desabandhu was elected the first mayor of the corporation. He proved to be an ideal mayor in every respect. He was re-elected as mayor in the next year in 1923. He presided over the all-over trade union congress at Lahore and in 1924 at Calcutta. 1925, Desbandhu was the president of Bengal Provincial Conference held at Faidapur. In this last presidential address, he put forth his ideas on Swaraj and domination statutes. Desbandhu wanted Swaraj for the masses, not for the classes. He took him Swaraj is government by the people and for the people. In this last political judgment in 1924, he made out a strong case for domination status. He held dominion status today is in no sense servitude, but and at least by consent. For material advances in the real spirit of the cooperation, further he believed in non-violent and constitutional method for the realization of the national independence. He explained, I am one of those who hold to non-violence as a principle. It is for India to so light to the world spreads by non-violence and spreads by the people. And advocate of constitutional harmony and Hindu-Muslim unity to an effective. In 1923, the Bengal Pact between the Hindu-Muslims of Bengal, two husband section of the Congress in this economic field thus stressed the need of constructive work in villages. He did not favor the idea of mere industrialization and held industrialization risks man to amazing. For the reconstruction of the Portuguese national industries, he wanted agriculture to be trained up in the ways of useful handcraft or champion of national education on vernacular medium. He felt that the masses should be properly educated to participate in the nationalism. He deprecated the prolonged Western system of education that would only promote a kind of soulless culture. He was associated with the foundation of the National Council of Education and other similar institutions such as Gauriya Subhayatran and Calcutta Vidya. In 1921, he presided the National Education Conference held at Begrampur. Chittaranjan also made his mark as poet and essayist. The Malanchas, his first book of was published in 1895. Right of four more volumes lyrics were published: Malam and Shriyami, Kishore Kishori, and Sagar Sangeet. He contributed short stories and articles to different journals. As a journalist, his contributor was his noteworthy. He started a literary career then Narayana in 1914 and an evening daily to Bangalore Kata in 1922. Both in Bangalore in 1923 founded the Surajapati organ, the forward in 1924 the official organ of the Calcutta Corporation, the municipal gazette. Suranjan was Ostentatious in his mode of living till he joined a non-corporation movement after 1921. He led a simple life. His religious and social outlook was liberal, and although Bromo's influence, he was first to read on this, but later learned to the sector, murder cult, and wise religion. He was against caste discrimination and untouchability, a believer in woman emancipation. I supported the spread of female education and widow remarriage and advocate of intercaste marriage. He gave his one daughter's marriage employment and his your families. She tolerated manifests in the social threat as pro-war. There were innumerable cases of his private charity he made over his proprietary to the trust for the country service. His Guayapo residence is now located in a hospital named Chitran Seva Sadan. Chitran passed away on 16 June 1924, doubling at the age of 55 only. His mortal body was taken back to Calcutta, where the last rites were performed. Thousands of people with GN joined the over 2 mile long funeral procession to pay homage to the departed leader, great as a jurist. Chittranjan was the greatest and the most dynamic leader of Bengal. He was an equivalent exponent of her thought and culture. Overall, he was opposite of Indian nationalism in the word of Thakur. The best gift of Chittranjan loved her left for his countrymen is not any particular political or social program but the creative force of the great aspiration that its take deathless form and the sacrifice which is represented. Life is times stewardess by Cyril Calcutta. Desabundu Sitarantos, a brave summary of his life and work by Sugmaran Rajan dos Calcutta, Seados and Indian National Movement, a story in his political ideals by Dalip Mosaduzi Calcutta in 1965, speeches Mr. Seados Calcutta 1918, Desabundu Smriti in Bengali by Hamandranath Das Gupta Calcutta 1926, Manus Chitranjan in Bengali by Aparna Devi Calcutta in 1928. These other books are referred for to know about his more. Thank you for listening. Continue support and share it. Thank you for listening once again.